In the storeroom of the Egyptian Council of Antiquities. For the first time in 3,000 years, the coffin is going to be opened. Public admission is not allowed, and for us, a German television crew, none whatsoever. Only Professor Graefe is allowed to film his mummy for scientific documentation. He provided us with his material to use at our disposal. A tissue sample about 1 millimeter in size is removed from the mummy. Departure to the clinic. For the mummy, it is a journey into the world of modern medical technology. The Luxor Clinic. The wooden crate carrying the mummy is escorted into the hospital for examination. The mummy lies in the tube of the computer tomograph. We manage to catch a fleeting glance, and then the filming permission is over, even for Professor Graefe. The mummy is now being returned, and we are allowed to film again. While the data are being stored, the monitor reveals a first glimpse beneath the bandages of the mummy. The skeleton appears to be completely preserved. Is there anything special one can detect? One answer can be found in Munich at the university's Institute of Pathology. We are dealing here with the first completely unscathed mummy ever discovered, and which could be subjected in Egypt to a modern computer tomograph examination. We had the data transferred here and can now produce cross-sectional views using our examination techniques. You can see the closely packed layers, which are very noticeable here. Going by the calculations from other mummies, 300 square meters of linen were applied in order to embalm the corpse. A cross-section view through the lower spinal column. Here, indentations on the lower spinal vertebrae, for example, clearly indicate that this person carried or lifted heavy objects or something similar.
Tragen, Heben von schwereren Gegenständen und Ähnlichem unterlegen ist.
So she worked hard, this woman with no name from the unknown tomb. We look for her here, on the walls of the tomb. There, where craftsmen and laborers are represented, but no woman was found. These women also do not want to show their faces, and they hide themselves behind a large bundle of sugarcane and their veil. Here, the vizier and the tomb owner guard their workers. But where did this woman work while she was still alive? We found no traces. The evaluation at the Pathological Institute continues. Dr. Albert Sink, a molecular biologist, does the DNA analysis. Contained in the test tube is a millimeter-sized piece of tissue. Firstly, we can prove hereditary properties after 3,000 years, which in itself is quite astounding. With the DNA analysis, we can also determine the gender very clearly. We are dealing here with, as you can see on the screen, a female mummy. That we can be quite sure of. We have also attempted to locate pathogenic bacteria, but up to now, we have had no positive results. A small, mysterious wedge was discovered by the scientists in a throat vertebrae of the mummy. Did this have anything to do with her death? The radiologist, Dr. Ulrike Seimes from the University Clinic, tries to find an answer. It must have been a hand of some kind that stuck it in. That's my personal opinion. Something like this doesn't just slide in. These are very coarse structures here, and here somebody must have used force before death, after which death occurred. Somebody must have put in these thin channels. This mummy was definitely younger than 30 years old. These are statements achieved through this technology, and computer tomography makes it substantially easier than before. Here one sees the head of the mummy with this linen cloth. One can recognize the skin appearing through. One can just about recognize the lips. Here the eye sockets. The soft part of the nose is schematically defined. Here we recognize what we presumed in the single frames. This small bandage which keeps this mass of material together in a small interwoven braid knotted at the back of the head. We now know more about this woman that was buried 3,000 years ago in the Theban desert, but a lot she kept for herself, despite all the scientific precision. The archaeologists, however, continue their search. Meanwhile, another festival in the desert is taking place, but only men. We did not find any women here on this day.